So, you've bought a rental property. Congratulations! Today I want to talk to you about how to squeeze more profit out of that property and every property going forward. This will help you build more wealth faster. What's up, military millionaires? I'm David Perret and I'm stoked to bring you a ton of value in this video right after this intro. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell for notifications so that you can find out when we post more content designed to help you build real wealth. Hey, what's up, guys? I hope the lighting's all right. My main light just died. I can't figure out why. The bulb's not dead, it's just shorting out. Improving operations. Once you finally finish the lengthy acquisition process that is required for most real estate investments, the real fun work begins. It is now time to increase income, lower expenses, and improve the operations of your rental in order to maximize your return on investment. This is the process that can make a good investment great. So the first thing you need to do is cut expenses. Cutting expenses is one of the best ways to improve the operations of a property and often one of the most overlooked. If you have a rental property that is bringing in $1,000 a month in gross rental income and you spend a total of $900 a month on all of your expenses, then it cash flows $100 a month, which isn't terrible. In fact, this is good, but it could be better. So let's say that you're able to increase the gross monthly rent to $1,100 a month, which means that you now cash flow $200 a month, which is even better. But since your expenses are still $900, if the property goes vacant, you're suddenly finding yourself eating $900 a month, or out of pocket $900 a month until it's rented again. On the other hand, if you focus on cutting the expenses by $100 a month, your cash flow increases to $200 a month, just like if you raise the income, but your expenses are now only $800. So if the property goes vacant, you'll only find yourself eating $800 a month until it's rented again. While that is still unfortunate, it is much less painful than $900 a month out of pocket. So if you increase the income and it goes vacant, you're still out the same amount of expenses. But if you cut the expenses and it goes vacant, you're still saving that $100 a month. So it's a more long-term cash flow. The beautiful thing is that there's no reason why you can't do both. Definitely focus on the expenses first and cut your bottom line as much as possible though. The first way to do this is through utilities. If you're paying utilities on the property, you need to focus on mitigating them as soon as possible because they're just a huge expense. You can do this by upgrading to high efficiency LED light bulbs, furnaces, toilets, faucets, whatever you can make more high efficiency. But don't go just blowing your money to make it more efficient. We'll get to that later. You should also look into maybe installing solar panels on properties for which you pay utilities. And I also love to install motion detectors in the lighting in the bathrooms because tenants seem to have no problem leaving the light on in the bathroom 24/7, but installing a motion detector can put a stop to this pointless waste of electricity very quickly. Commercial real estate often requires exterior lighting and electricity that you can cut these expenses drastically just by installing a timer on the exterior lighting to ensure that your lighting isn't on during the middle of the day. Another quick way to mitigate expenses is to lower your trash bill, and you can do this by calling different companies and utilizing mini dumpsters instead of multiple trash cans. I saved $100 a month when I first bought my 10 unit because they had 10 individual cans and I made it one dumpster. You never know how you can save money here until you pick up the phone and call around. Insurance is another great way to lower your expenses. Don't get stuck with a certain company just because you've been with them for a while. Shop around in order to get the best rates on your home insurance. If you own an apartment that is on a single meter, you should consider implementing a ratio utility billing system, or RUBS, to lower your cost. RUBS can be billed many different ways, but it essentially is a way for you to split the utility costs amongst the tenants so that if, for example, your monthly utility bills are $1,000 on a 10-unit apartment, you would drastically reduce your expenses if you could get your tenants to just pay $50 a month, which would cut your utilities in half. The more that you can transfer these RUBS to the tenants, the better your cash flow will become. Now we're going to talk about upgrade hacking, which this is one of my favorite strategies for improving the value of a property and cutting expenses. I have to accredit this to David Green, which is in Long Distance Real Estate Investing. He talked about this for the first time. So anytime an appliance, light fixture, furnace, or other item breaks in the home, look to upgrade hack the replacement. Upgrade hacking is a great way to increase the overall value of a property without paying a fortune on expenses. Imagine, if you will, in fact, you can close your eyes. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine that one of the furnaces goes out and you need to replace it immediately. You call around, you get a ton of quotes, and you figure that it's going to cost you $1,800 to buy a new furnace and install it in your rental. Oh, by the way, you can also cut expenses by smashing that like button. Now, to upgrade hack this, you would buy a high-end furnace instead of the lower quality one most people buy. Let's say it costs you $200 more just to get the high efficiency, high quality furnace installed. If that furnace only saves you $10 a month in gas on your utility bill, it's an annual savings of $120, which means that the high efficiency furnace will pay for itself in just 20 months. And most furnaces last at least 15 to 20 years. Assuming that this furnace lasts 20 years, you would have saved $2,200 in expenses by upgrade hacking. The best part is the high quality furnace could easily last you another 5 or 10 years longer than the more affordable one, which saves you even more money in the long run. By the way, these are rough numbers. On average, a high efficiency furnace will save you 25 to 30% of the cost that you would be paying on a lower quality unit, which is way more than the conservative numbers I used above. So you can use this philosophy when a toilet breaks, a light bulb goes out, a window needs to be replaced, or any other renovation in the property. Don't think of this as spending $2,000 on a furnace. Think of it as spending only $200 more to replace something that you need to replace anyway. That is the mentality that you need to utilize for upgrade hacking. And you should think this way for any repair or replacement you do inside of a home. Now we get to talk about increasing the income. This is the fun part that everybody enjoys talking about with rental properties. The easiest and most discussed way to increase income on a property is to just raise the rent. If you buy a property with tenants who aren't paying the average market rent, you can increase that as soon as their lease renews. You can also increase income by renovating a rental to increase the amount of rent that it will collect. A home that's 40 years old and hasn't been renovated with all the nasty wallpaper and green or orange shag carpet is not likely to rent for full market value. But a few $1,000s could easily update the property and allow you to charge more for rent. Another great way to increase the income from your property is to just add more value and convenience to your tenants. You could do this by installing a coin washer-dryer unit in the apartment, which allows you to collect a little extra income and saves your tenants time and money by having to go to a laundromat. You could do the same thing by installing a vending machine if your tenants would like one, or providing an option for them to use storage shed for an extra $50 a month. That would bring in a little extra income and save your tenants the hassle and money of having to use off-site storage facilities. Maybe you live somewhere where you can charge some money for a dedicated parking space. I know in Hawaii there's people who buy parking spaces just to rent them out at apartments, and it does work. The sky is the limit with the value that you can add to your tenants. All of these options can increase the amount of rent you're able to collect while simultaneously improving the overall approval rating of your tenants around the property. Tenants love convenience. I know I love convenience, and the more conveniences that you are able to provide them, the longer they're going to stay in your rental. This also saves you money by reducing your vacancy rate, which is one of the biggest expenses. Next, to improve operations. Anything you can do to reduce vacancy, stress, processes, etc. is a result of improving your operations and system. One of the best ways to do this is by hiring a professional property manager. But if you'd rather manage it yourself, make sure you have systems in place to make it easier for you. Some of the best ways to implement systems are to utilize templates and checklists, mitigate distractions, and outsource everything you can. Checklists are huge, and just so that you guys know I'm not talking out of my mouth, I have one right here. I don't know if you can see that, for YouTube checklists. So this one says, before filming, write script or bullet points, plan title ideas, keyword ideas. If this is a collaboration, are both parties on the same page? Setting up to film, let family know I'm filming, ensure the room is set up, ambient noises, room light, ceiling fan, towel blocking the door, remove the lens cap, turn the camera on, verify camera angle and focus, turn on microphone, turn microphone sound levels, turn on the ring light, which is the one that's out right now, have script or bullet points handy, and then intro, call to action. Like, I have it all here. And I'll tell you, before I created that checklist, there were times when I'd film and realize the audio wasn't recording. So it's definitely saved me a ton of time. Checklists are huge because you can't afford to neglect steps in your process. You should have a checklist that covers all of the steps you must follow in order to turn over a unit. For example, I have a checklist for when I turn over Airbnb units. That will ensure that you don't miss a vital step and end up having to go back into the unit after your tenant has moved in. Outsourcing is another great way to improve operations because it frees up your time for more important tasks. That is why a good property manager can really help you improve your business. The more you are able to outsource the day-to-day operations, the more you are able to free up your time to focus on the building of the business. Some tips and tricks for renovations. When conducting a renovation, it is important not to go overboard. You want to be right on target with the standard work in that neighborhood. For example, if every home in your neighborhood has granite countertops, you don't want to install Formica. On the flip side of that, if every home in your neighborhood has Formica countertops, installing a granite countertop will probably not bring enough additional value to your home to compensate for the expense of a granite countertop. For a house hack, you want to renovate the property as efficiently as possible. It should be noted that builder's grade craftsmanship is generally sufficient for tenants and also much more affordable and probably more durable. If you plan to fix up a property and then flip it or sell it quickly, it will make more sense to spend a little bit more money on the renovation because it's a home buyer buying it and they want to live somewhere nice. But again, you need to find a balance and ensure that you avoid going overboard with the renovation budget. Only rehab those items that will bring you a great return on your investment. The kitchen and bathrooms are where you will get the most bang for your buck with these renovations. If you want to spend a little extra money to improve the quality of your renovations, spend it in the kitchen and the bathrooms. This is one of my favorites, being a good person. You can earn a great return on your investment by simply being a good person. Perhaps you write a thank you note to your tenants at the end of the year, thanking them for being awesome tenants. Maybe you even give them a $25 gift card or an Amazon Echo Dot that you bought for very cheap on Black Friday. Making your tenants feel appreciated and welcome may be the tipping point for them to decide not to move out at the end of their lease. The longer your tenants reside in the property, the lower your vacancy rate and the more money that you will keep in your pocket. If a tenant renews their annual lease, that is 100% worth the $25 that you spent to make them feel special. However, spending money isn't a requirement to make your tenants feel welcome. You could just smile and wave whenever you see them, or remember their name and be able to ask about their job, family, pet, etc. If you can make your tenants feel welcome and like you care about them, it will pay dividends in your business. In fact, maybe more than anything else you can do. Another way to greatly improve the operations of your business is to treat your team very well. Always treat your property manager and realtor exceptionally well, and a nice gift goes a long way here. A bottle of their favorite alcohol or a gift card to a nice restaurant will be sure to help keep them in your good graces. Side note, for those of you who know that I'm going through this big lawsuit, which finally I have a court date for, my property manager and realtor were lifesavers through that whole process, and I definitely bought them each a bottle of their favorite alcohol with their name and a little note engraved on the side of it, and it cost me a couple $100, but you know what? It was worth it. They both still work with me, and they were incredible during that time. So the more that I can help them out, the better. Now, you may not get better service from your property manager. In fact, I hope you don't, because that means you were getting less service before, and a good property manager should be giving you the best service all the time. But let's be honest, we're human beings, so it certainly cannot hurt. And your realtor will definitely bring deals to you first if they enjoy working with you. I could go on and on about this forever, but just know that being a good person, honestly, just being a good person and living by the do unto others as you would have them do unto you, not do unto others as they did to me, just being a good person. I can't say that enough. It will be probably the biggest return on investment that you can make. I mean, we focus so much on networking, but how do you treat the people that are already in your network? Once you find them, don't forget about them. If you haven't reached this stage in the process yet, go down below. I've got a really affordable course that will help you buy your first rental property and teach you everything you need to know to go from 0 to 100 real fast. I think that's a song, but no, seriously. If you want some help with buying your first property and improving renovations, or you've got some ideas you want to bounce off me, or you need some ideas bounced off you, please just reach out. You can comment down below, you can click on some of the links down below, and I would love to talk to you. Also, this subliminal message up here, you should do that right now. Go ahead and subscribe.